Boeing 707. The Boeing 707 was built because propeller airliners had limits in speed and long-range travel. Jet engines allowed higher cruise speeds and flight above most weather, cutting flying time drastically. It first flew in 1957 and entered service in 1958 with Pan Am, helping start the commercial jet age. It had 4 turbojet engines, swept wings, and could fly longer routes faster than piston aircraft. Its design influenced nearly all future jet airliners and shifted airlines to widespread jet use. Boeing 727. The Boeing 727 was developed in the early 1960s to serve short and medium-range routes and smaller airports that larger jets like the 707 couldn't efficiently reach. It was launched in 1960 with orders from United and Eastern, first flew in 1963, and entered service in 1964. It is a narrow-body trijet with 3 Pratt & Whitney JT8D engines mounted on the rear fuselage and a T-tail. This layout balanced power and runway performance, allowing operation from shorter fields and meeting regulatory restrictions on twinjets at the time. 2 main variants existed, the 727-100 and the stretched 727-200, the latter carrying up to around 189 passengers. Over its production from 1962 to 1984, more than 1,800 were built, making it one of the most widely produced jets of its era. Its configuration made it versatile for passenger and cargo use until newer, more fuel-efficient twinjets replaced it in the 2000s. Boeing 737. The Boeing 737 was created to serve short to medium-range routes with lower operating costs than larger jets. It was launched in the mid-1960s, first flew in 1967, and entered service in 1968. Boeing designed it as a narrow-body, twin-engine aircraft that could operate from smaller airports with minimal ground equipment. Its low ground clearance allowed easy boarding and faster turnaround times. Over time, the 737 evolved through multiple generations: original, classic, next generation, and max. Each version improved range, fuel efficiency, and avionics while keeping the same basic airframe. This continuity allowed airlines to train pilots faster and reduce costs. Because of its flexibility, reliability, and constant upgrades, the 737 became the most produced commercial jet aircraft in history, serving regional, domestic, and short international routes worldwide. Boeing 747. The Boeing 747 was developed in the late 1960s to solve a capacity problem. Air travel demand was rising rapidly, and existing aircraft could not move enough passengers efficiently on long-haul routes. Boeing's solution was scale. The 747 first flew in 1969 and entered service in 1970 with Pan Am. It was the world's first wide-body jumbo jet, designed to carry more than twice the passengers of earlier aircraft. Its 4-engine layout provided the power and redundancy required for long ocean crossings under regulations of that era. The raised cockpit and upper deck were chosen to allow a front cargo door, making the aircraft adaptable for freight use. Multiple variants followed, including passenger, combi, and freighter versions. The 747 reduced seat mile costs on long routes and reshaped global air travel by making mass international flying economically viable for airlines. Boeing 757. The Boeing 757 was developed in the late 1970s to replace the aging 727 on short and medium-range routes with better fuel efficiency and higher performance. It first flew in 1982 and entered service in 1983. The aircraft was designed as a narrow-body, twin-engine jet with more powerful engines than earlier single-aisle planes. This power allowed it to operate from shorter runways while still flying longer distances, a combination airlines needed for high-demand routes and constrained airports. The 757 introduced a modern glass cockpit, reducing crew workload and training complexity. Its strong performance also made it suitable for transcontinental flights and some transatlantic routes under ETOPS rules. Although production ended in 2004, the 757 remains in service because few aircraft match its unique balance of range, payload, and runway performance. Boeing 767. In the late 1970s, airlines faced a cost problem on long routes. Wide-body aircraft were efficient, but 4 engines consumed too much fuel. Boeing's answer was the Boeing 767. It first flew in 1981 and entered service in 1982 as a twin-engine wide-body designed for medium to long-haul operations. The key shift was efficiency. Two high-bypass turbofan engines reduced fuel burn while still providing enough power for ocean crossings. This aircraft helped prove that long-range twin-engine flights could be safe and economical, supporting new ETOPS regulations. The 767 seated around 200-255 passengers and was widely used for transcontinental and transatlantic routes. Its cockpit design was later shared with the 757, simplifying pilot training. Over time, the 767 also became a popular cargo aircraft, extending its service life well beyond passenger operations. Boeing 777. By the early 1990s, airlines wanted long-haul aircraft with lower operating costs but without sacrificing range or reliability. Boeing's response was the Boeing 777. It first flew in 1994 and entered service in 1995 as the world's largest twin-engine jet. The goal was simple: replace older 3- and 4-engine wide-body aircraft with a more efficient design. The 777 uses two very large high-bypass turbofan engines, allowing long-range flights while burning less fuel per seat. It was designed from the start for extended range operations, helping expand ETOPS confidence for twin jets. With seating typically between 300 and 400 passengers, it became ideal for high-demand long-haul routes. The aircraft also introduced advanced fly-by-wire systems and was one of the first airliners developed using extensive digital design tools. Its reliability made it a long-term favorite among major international airlines. Boeing 787 Dreamliner. By the 2000s, airlines faced a new constraint: fuel cost volatility and passenger fatigue on long flights. Boeing addressed both with the Boeing 787, which first flew in 2009 and entered service in 2011. The core change was materials. A large portion of the airframe uses carbon fiber composites, reducing weight and improving fuel efficiency. Lighter structure allowed longer range with lower operating cost. The engines were optimized for efficiency rather than raw power, enabling point-to-point long-haul routes that previously required larger aircraft. Cabin design followed the same logic. Higher humidity and lower cabin altitude reduced passenger fatigue on long flights. The 787 typically seats 240-330 passengers and enabled airlines to open thinner international routes profitably. It did not aim to carry more people. It aimed to fly farther, cheaper, and more often. Boeing 717. The Boeing 717 was designed for short-haul routes where frequency mattered more than range. It originated as the McDonnell Douglas MD-95 and entered service in 1999 after Boeing merged with McDonnell Douglas. The aircraft targeted airlines operating high-cycle routes between smaller cities, where quick turnarounds and reliability were critical. The 717 used two rear-mounted Rolls-Royce BR715 engines, chosen for low noise, strong performance, and reduced maintenance on short sectors. It typically seated around 100-120 passengers, filling the gap between regional jets and larger narrow-body aircraft. Its systems were modern for its time, offering good dispatch reliability and fuel efficiency for its size. Despite solid performance, sales were limited due to market shift toward larger single-aisle jets. Production ended in 2006, but the aircraft remains in service because it performs exactly the role it was built for.